Hi, I'm Jake Stewart with Tri-County FS, and I'm here today with Zach McEvers of McEvers Trucking. Thanks for being here, sir. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Yep, thank
Thank
you.
you for taking your time to help out with this. We're here today to talk a little bit about Dieselex Gold, Super X Gold 1540 ESP, and construction red grease, Spectre Lube.
Excited.
I'm excited to do this too, buddy. Tell us a little bit about your operation here, how you kind of got started, and a little bit about everything that you do.
Well, like you said, McEvers Trucking, third generation. We do a little bit of a mix of OTR, over the road, and local hauling. Um, we Our main lanes, I guess, would be Iowa, Georgia, Iowa, Arkansas, and everywhere in between, really. But we got some main lanes that keep us busy there, and things are always changing. So, local scene's a little different than it used to be. You know, first generation, that's all they did. And now
Correct.
we've kind of moved into some distant stuff and just getting getting by, I guess.
Doing what you got to do to
Yeah,
get by. That's right.
yeah.
But Zach and I, we started doing business about 10 years ago. Or that,
2013 to be precise.
all right. And whenever Zach come to me and started asking me about what we could offer him, he was having some problems with some inconsistency on his fuel that he was buying over the road, and it just wasn't consistent for him. And he wanted to know what we could do, and then we set up a Dieselex Gold trial with him. And tell me a little bit about what you found after we started with that.
Well, would we been running B11 back then when I first got
Yep,
going?
sure would have been.
So, we definitely noticed pickup in fuel economy. We had less filter issues. That's one thing I will say about the Diesel X since I've been with you is unless it's deep cold and you can't run anything, we don't have near the filter issues that we did back then. I'd stand beside Jake with anything cold weather running, uh, even when you're in the transitions, when you get those deep cold fronts and stuff, we start working the number two in versus the bio. And now the bio's heavier, so we always have to be on task, looking at the forecast.
We
And
got to be ahead of the game about a week or 10 days to make that switch over. And
yeah,
I think we do a pretty good job communicating that with one another whenever that time of year gets here, and we try to switch you back over as soon as we can.
right. Yeah, I think your additives are spot on, whatever
That would be our SureFlow. We typically put a two times level of SureFlow in, and that typically gets you everywhere you need to go. I know some people go a little further north, might need to do something a little different, but that always works for you and works well in this area. Typically, we don't have a lot of issues with that. Not only yourself don't have any, but we typically don't with anybody else as far as that goes, unless they haven't changed a filter in a year. Sometimes that happens.
right. Yeah, I think one thing I could say there too, and right or wrong, and we've been through this with that old pump. It's starting to get some age on it, and I'm too ornery to go buy another one. Um, I do a lot of filtering with the truck when it gets cold. We can't filter it at the pump or at the barrel, the on-site barrel because, well, the microns are too tight, and you want to make sure they're good and clean fuel going in the trucks, but we do a good job with different filter bases and different things on the trucks that we can run in the wintertime. And we're not, you know, using, uh, we're still using those micron, 7 or 10
Tens
versus,
probably.
yeah. And anyway, we're not running 25s where they can run through anything. We're still running the good filters for that reason. And we have zero issues. Like I said, if it's 22 below and you got a 30-mile-an-hour wind, not much is going to run anyway, but we don't have issues, in the wintertime especially.
Have you glanced at the totalizer on that meter lately? Because I did the other day when I was there.
It's kind of faded a little bit, but it's at north of 500,000, isn't it?
It is north of 500. It's
That's
about
what I thought.
560 some odd thousand
Well,
that's went through that pump of Dieselex Gold.
Well, we go through phases too. Obviously, the more local stuff we do, the more the trucks are on site and filling up every night. And anyway, there's one truck in particular that pretty much runs predominantly over the road. He's picked up on the gallons. You'll see that this month that he's been stopping in and getting more fuel. I wish I had some data showing, the difference between all of his road mile fuel purchases versus ours, but there's no real way to show that. I mean, I could kind of go through there and pick around with it, but you know, nowadays the fuel's changed so much anyway that it's hard to see it on paper.
So, but you can still see though once he gets back and he refills that truck with Dieselex Gold that typically the horsepower comes back, maybe a little less black smoke coming out because
Yeah,
the
I'd say
fuel's
so,
getting
for sure.
burnt more a little bit more efficiently.
Yeah. One thing we've done a lot of, and not be, it was this here would be just because of the age of some of my equipment. We've done a lot of things, a lot of different things with our engines. We've been trying to increase performance with fuel mileage. I do have documentation on all that. We're using older engines though, so to be super efficient, you spend some money. And anyway, the parts that we have replaced that are failing, not because of the fuel, but because of their age, 800, 900,000 miles on some of these, say, injectors, and we've had heads pulled, and everything looks good. I mean, it's all clean. It's just what we're replacing. Internal engine looks great. I've got some oil samples that come back great, even on some really old equipment. I wouldn't show you the one we had the injector failure on one of my trucks, and that one didn't come back very good, but we knew we had another problem.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
But everything looks really good. And one truck in particular I've been documenting since its overhaul, and they say in the notes, do nothing. Just keep running keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because it was about 4 or 5 years ago we got you to switch over to our 1540 Super X ESP.
Yes.
And for a few reasons in there, you was looking to possibly neaten up a few things around your place because you had several jugs and some boxes and some barrels around, and you went to a 120 gallon Rhino tote with a air delivered pump with a nozzle on it, and kind of explain to everybody a little bit about what you like about that.
Oh, it was a little, it was a little cashy to get started, but that's everything nowadays. It's been really nice to have this because with my 3 trucks, and we did this kind of by design. The size of the bulk tank was to catch the bulk of our oil for the year could come out during the wintertime sale. And then I probably buy, I don't know, I think you put 50 gallon or so in there.
I did.
To get me around to the next sale. And that's probably what's going to happen this year because I'm down half probably. I got three to service directly, but that's been really nice. The hose sits in one place out of the way, and we're not moving anything. With the old barrels, we had to stick our old thing in there, and then when you pulled it out to fill it, why, it's just a pain in the butt. So it's made that really nice. And like I said, I like the oil, especially with the truck that I say recently, it's almost going on 2 years, just not a lot of miles on the overhaul yet. That oil, that truck doesn't burn a drop, and there's minimal leakage because of the overhaul. We sealed some things up, and I go 15,000 if I wanted to, and I never put a drop in it.
Are they telling you in the oil samples that you could extend the drains if you wanted to past that 15 a good ways?
Well, they switched. It was going directly to Growmark, some of the sample kits that you gave me. they switched to a company. This is going to Wisconsin or something now. So I don't remember Growmark ever saying to extend. However, I'd have to look a little deeper into that. They usually have some notes, but it's kind of short and sweet. You know, it gives you all your numbers and stuff, and they always say, basically continue what you're doing, see what looks like at the next sample. You know.
And the best part about those samples is if you're sending them in regularly and doing what you have been doing, if you do happen to have a problem that is starting to where you see some of them wearable metals starting to show up in there, that you need to
Yeah, you can see it before it happens.
see it
Yeah.
before it happens and get ahead of the process. And at the end of the day, we're all doing this to save money and to do all this. You're pairing the Dieselex Gold with the Super X Gold 1540 ESP. You've got a perfect marriage there as far as that goes
Yeah.
with your power protection and efficiency. I mean, you're doing exactly what you need to do to keep that truck doing what it does.
Yeah. Yeah, and pair it with the I don't want to jump ahead here, but pair it with the grease and you got the whole package. I mean, we don't run any hydro stuff. We're all ag commodity hopper trailers. We don't run any dumps or anything like that. But you pair that in there and I'll tell you right now I've seen big improvements in wearable parts, on the chassis and stuff. We just don't have them failing like they used to.
You're using the Spectra Lube Construction Red.
Yes, the red. Love
Yep.
it. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And it's not solely because it's convenient. I can call you and you bring me a box of it or whatever. I do like the bulk ability, especially in the sale time, because you know how I operate.
Oh yeah, well, I mean we're human, Zach. We gotta save where we can. And that's the reason why we do that.
Right. And no, I wouldn't trade that grease. I used to use green or red. Shoot, I can't think of it now. Lucas. I used to run Lucas. I like that stuff too, but this stuff, when I switched, I was never happier. I just I didn't have to go to the farm store and grab it, and it was cheaper. Well, hey, there's no,
There's
not to
something else.
mention, like I said, I'm just not replacing the wearables like I used to. And it seems like I don't know what it is about it. Even in the summertime here, whenever you usually like fifth wheels will dry up quick. That stuff, even if you've got a dry spot, you still got good looking grease when you unhook, and we don't do that much. And this time of year, every time you turn, that grease is wiping, and then there's dust flying on it, and then it wipes again. And I'd feel comfortable saying that it was, it stays on better. It doesn't allow the other crap to get in there like most.
Like some does, like some of the stuff you get at some of them.
Oh yeah, and
Farm
whenever,
stores.
yeah, whenever you can watch the water, because there's boots and different things on, like say the steering axle, and when you see the water come out by itself, and when the grease comes, if you got a pinhole in a boot or something like that, and it's not milky and nasty looking, that makes you feel better that the grease is staying intact and it's not allowing the water to absorb it, or not letting it in there and take over.
Well, the Spectra Lube Construction Red Grease, it does have a property in there to where it sheds the water. There is that in there, and it's got excellent water, what they call water washout properties, to where the majority of it stays there. You can hold a pressure washer on it, and a lot of it's going to stay there.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily a hot water pressure washer, but like a garden hose anyway style. It's going to stay there, and it's going to continue to protect and do its job for you.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, like I said, pretty tickled that you're as close as you are too, and all that stuff with being able to provide us with all this stuff. And I don't think I've ever called you and you was out of anything.
Oh no, we keep an excellent supply and stock there at Tri County out of Carrollton, and like I said, we have a good delivery crew, and I deliver a lot of it to you, and we always try to take care of the customer first, try to make sure that we meet their needs on everything that they need, and Zach, I know I appreciate your business, and from this testimonial you just gave us, I'm pretty sure that you appreciate what I do and what the
absolutely.
company does for you, for your operation, for at the end of the day, honestly, your family, and I appreciate you taking your time to tell us and talk to us about all this. And I think we're done.
All right, not a problem. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.